There you go, Crunch.
All right, we are live. All right, well, welcome to another episode of Craft Beers Gone Wild, eh? This week is...
Amen, brother.
This week we are...
Well, you're breaking up, Crunch.
Yes, you're breaking up, man.
I don't know which one you saved, but you're having a echo issue. Now you're like just froze with your looking to the ceiling of the gods, or maybe Canada. I don't know.
This technology.
Okay, Rod J, do you want to take the reins on this introduction then?
So welcome back to another Craft Beers Going Wild, and
Very
we'll let
wild.
Crunch get resettled in, who's usually the MC at this portion. But I am Rod J out of Kentucky, Cincinnati.
I am.
Okay.
We'll get the introductions done while we wait for Crunch to reappear from outer space. I am Thomas Metal 75 Eric from the Massachusetts Beer Review channel YouTube in southern Massachusetts.
Good evening. I am Jay Terrio, or Ronald Terrio, from Louisiana Beer Reviews.
And Crunch, are you back?
Oh, man.
Yep.
He's like the $6 million man's space plane. He's breaking up.
Wow.
We see you, Crunch. We can't hear you if you're trying to say anything.
Ooh.
Well, I haven't said a word yet, so...
Yeah, I hear you.
You want to introduce yourself?
I am Crunch Kretschmar here in Chicago, Illinois. So, this week we have the Craft Beer Gone Wild North.
Uh-oh. Crunch, you went missing.
Crunch went witness protection program again. So
yeah, this week we have the Canadian beers, from up north,
right. So we chose to take a look at beers north of the border, which actually for me was not the easiest of feats, as I talked to Eric earlier today. I usually like to get the stuff for the show in individual bottles, so I don't maybe have to buy like a whole 6-pack or whatever, and finding Canadian beers was a little more tougher where I'm at. So I've got the true one that you can usually find, which is kind of that, I guess you could say, macro with Labatt's, and then I got another one that's actually more of a craft beer, which actually got a good deal on a 6-pack, so that should be a nice, interesting one. But the second one I got is actually from Molson, so
Excellent.
It'll be a nice little rattler type beer. And then Eric, you ended up getting.
I have the Unibrews Blanche de Chamblay,
Which is always an awesome one.
This one is a Belgian-style white ale, 5%. It is brewed with coriander and orange peel, bottle re-fermented, and it is a 12-ounce bottle. It's not one of the European or French-Canadian-style rip-off bottles that sometimes...
Yeah, the 11.2, right?
Yes, exactly. I think they're brewed in Chambly, Quebec, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. Well, you cracked that one open, so you want to go ahead and talk about it?
Sure. When I cracked this beer open, it had some... Let me go back to our video so I can look at it. Here we are. So it had the foil on it, and when I cracked open the top of the bottle, it made a loud pop noise. I bet you couldn't hear it, but it made a big old pop noise. I'm thinking that's from the re-fermentation of the beer. It's definitely got that fluffy, bone-colored stark white kind of a head on that, and it's got a lot of rocky notes to it. Definitely a little bit of the lacing. There is somewhat towards the top of the glass a little bit of a cloud, literally like a cloudy haze, like a big cloud. And it is that orangey, yellowish kind of a wheat beer color with a lot of nice carbonation. As the bottle cap sounded off, I could tell it was going to have that carbonation. The smell of it is definitely spicy. It's all kinds of spices with those cloves and I guess there's some coriander, They say coriander, cloves, bread, yeast bread aromas, citrus notes, and on the unibrew.com site, and all of that's perfect. It's got white bread, definitely yeasty notes to it, coriander, cloves. Definitely get the more orange peel than the banana, but there's a little bit of banana in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And it smells really, light and easy drinking and pretty refreshing. So let's try that and see if it's like that. Excellent. It's got that nice orange, juicy, citrusy kind of a tartness to it.
Okay.
It definitely has that velvety smoothness you would expect from a good wheat style beer. It's definitely velvety and smooth on the finish.
Okay.
Sometimes Jay says it, and I agree. It has like a spiced bread kind of note. That's the big one. It's not like I wouldn't say it's like a fruit cake in any of those kind of spices, but it's definitely like a white bread with some kind of spiced herbal notes to it. I kind of think the hops are more on the spicy side, not like a noble hop or like a Saz, but it's definitely on the spicy, but maybe even a little bit floral and earthy on the hop. But you know what? It's definitely a light to medium beer. It's crisp, clean, and refreshing, and it's pretty good so far. I can't fault it as far as a Belgian white ale is concerned. It's a pretty good representation of the style. Definitely leaps and bounds above anything Blue Moon.
Blue Moon, yeah. That's a lower bar.
I've had the Blanche de Chambly, the Chambly white, but and I liked it. It was so well made. You know, that Unibrew company, who interestingly is owned by Mitsubishi, but that's another story. But but it's a true story. But I just don't like white beers. Those wit beers, they're just like gross to me. But I mean, you know, when I do beer reviews, I base it on is it a quality product or not. Not, oh, do I personally like the style? Because I don't think that's a fair way to rate it. No, I don't really like wheat beers or wit beers. I don't ever think I want to drink one. But if it's a well-made one, like the Blanche de Chambly, I'm going to say, yeah, it's great. You know, if you like this kind of thing, get it. It's one of the better ones. It's got a lot more flavor than Blue Moon. Although I don't hate Blue Moon as much as I used to hate it. Now I just don't love it too much. But
yeah, the last thing I notice about the beer as it finishes, and it finishes not cottonmouth dry, but it's fairly dry. The last thing I notice is there's a little bit of a lemonyness to it. There's a little bit of a tartness and a slight amount of a souring component right before it finishes. So, you know, all around, I would say this is a highly awesome version of a Belgian white ale entirely.
Nice. So how would you rate that one?
You know, the first time I had this beer actually was 2 years ago in Montreal, so that was a good place to try that. It had it outside with I don't know if you all know what poutine is. Poutine is the French fries and the brown gravy and the cheese curds, and it had I had a trying to think of like a pastrami type meat on it, and that went absolutely dynamite with that beer. And I'm still remembering it being a really awesome drinking experience. I would give it. In the letter grading, I would give it no less than an A. It's definitely that 9. I would say it's definitely in the 93 range, probably for me. It's really awesome.
Okay. Actually, I had a braised beef poutine a little while back. That was very nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you definitely want something that's got a little bit more carbonation to scrub out that fat content and reset the palate and get rid of some of that salty sweetness too.
I've never tried poutine.
Oh, it's good. You're in Louisiana. You never had poutine down there?
I'm not from Canada. All right.
I'm not either, but we still have it in Kentucky.
Yeah, man.
It's a French meal.
But he's got the Molson Canadian.
Hey, I have this Molson Canadian. You want me to tell you about it real fast?
Well, I was going to jump in real quick because I got this Labatt Blue. I'm just going to hit because I got like a 24-ounce can, and then you guys will be able to go through everything real quick. But I just had to, like I said, it was a little tough for me to grab some of the Canadian beer because I want to get the individual, which I found one later. But of course, Labatt Blue which is like the biggest selling beer in Canada. It's a lager. I mean, it's everything you kind of expect. Got that golden straw color. You can see really a lot of the carbonation right there. Nice ice and cold right now. So the head came out about 2-finger white head. It's already dissipating down. Not really holding too much of a rockiness or anything like that. Just like a lager, carries kind of that horse blanket type smell you kind of expect. I'm not a huge lager person as much, but I enjoy a couple from here and there.
Sorry.
It's got the that kind of I guess you could say like a corny type smell from some of the adjuncts. Not sure all they fully use in here, but you definitely sense it. The one thing I do like is the appearance of it. I do like seeing the streaming bubbles. Once you get it to the light, you really get to take in some of that carbonation on the look. But the taste, it's not that much more different than what we have for our macros here, right? So it's not going to be something to really knock you out of the ballpark. You get it, the regular type of mouthfeel you expect to have, kind of with a macro. You do get that corny taste in the mouth. I'm not a huge fan of that. Kind of almost like a sourness type taste. Not really too bitter. I mean, it's a 5% ABV and only 12 IBU, so it's not too heavy on a bitterness type side. But, if you're doing something like housework, yard work, cutting the grass, it's a beer you can kick back and relax with afterwards. It's not going to knock anything down, really, but it's not horrible. A lot of people that slam, like we talked about in the past, the Budweisers, the Millers, the Coors, you can kind of put Labatt's in that type thing. I don't think it's a beer worth slamming along those lines. I think it's a nice, smoothing beer for what you're actually paying for. You get a 24-ounce can and you're paying $1.59 or whatever the price may be. You're not going to expect the world, so it delivers on what it's supposed to. So for me, pretty much an average type beer. Probably I would say like a C minus. Put it at about a 2.25 out of 5. But I think if you just want something to chill with, or like I said, when I play softball, it's the kind of beer that I would kind of shoot for. Gives me that beer taste, and it's not something I'm going to get totally hammered from. And keeps a couple of dollars in your pocket. So there you go, Labatt Blue.
Yeah. Now
What's the alcohol content on that?
5% ABV.
When I first started drinking Labatt Blue, I thought I didn't like it too much. It had too much of that, like you were talking about, that sourdough bread, that yeast thing. But then I got used to it, and I started saying, well, okay, it's different. It's a little odd, but it has appeal. So my feelings about that beer increased every time I drank it. I don't like the fact that the bottles sold in America are 11.5% out, 11.5 ounces, which is an odd size, 11.5 ounces. But
yeah.
If you look at that can, it might say Rochester, New York, because I know a lot of the Labatt brands are actually coming out of Rochester.
Yeah, that's what I was surprised. I had the same kind of problem Rod did, where finding out something, and of course I was running late today, and so I stopped in. I got the Labatt's. I got the Max Ice.
Woo! Yeah.
And then I grabbed that, and then after I checked out, just what Ron was saying, I was kind of reading about it and stuff like that, and all of a sudden I got Rochester, New York on there. I'm going, what the hell,
Yeah, see, mine says imported Buffalo, New York, Union made, product of Canada, Brewing Company of Canada. I don't see Rochester on this one.
Well, it just depends, you see, because like what the story behind that is, the same thing with Molson. Like you can get Molson beers that are made in Golden, Colorado, because what happened is Molson and Coors merged around 2005, so they just like trade off. They say, well, here's the recipes.
Right.
Coors can brew beer, so if Molson says, here's the recipe to Molson Golden, well, they're going to make it. You're not going to really tell the difference. Same thing with Labatt. Labatt is actually owned by InBev, but they have a contract with Genesee Brewing in Rochester, and Genesee is the exclusive whatever Labatt brewer in America.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably make a pretty good amount of bucks off of that, and so they're saying to Genesee, look, brew this Labatt according to this recipe. Yeah, they're doing it okay. I don't find they do it as well as like Coors does the Molson beers. This Molson Canadian is
right, because it.
Say what? I do. You
I was going to talk about Molson Canadian, but I can wait.
Oh.
No, I mean, this
gonna
is.
say,
Go ahead,
I was going to
Crutch.
say I was going to say what Ron was just talking about is right, because I got on the side of my can here, it says, trademark, Labatt's Brewing Company, brewed and bottled by Labatt USA, Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder if they just do the cans in Buffalo then. And they do the bottles in Rochester.
No, I think Buffalo is where they're being imported from.
Yeah.
They're crossing the border right there by Niagara Falls, something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
But the Labatt ones are being made up there in Rochester, New York. Not all.
Oh, I should have said. And also, I guess, a sponsor of the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I was thinking of a beer like this, something like you would drink at a hockey match. Just like Budweiser or something at a baseball game. That's just kind of where it fits in.
It's a Molson Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Canadian import. It says made in Toronto at the big Molson factory. And interesting thing about Canadian and the Labatt Blue. Those two companies are really old, from Molson from the 1700s. But they didn't come out with Molson Canadian until 1959. Okay? And the thing you're drinking, Labatt Blue, I think they came out with that in 1951.
You're right.
So most of what they were producing up until the 50s was ales. The Canadians were drinking ales. And then they were like, well, everybody's getting into this Budweiser thing. We better come out with some lagers before people start jumping off of our brands. And so those two became the most popular Canadian beers. People just went cuckoo over lagers. And this one is similar to yours. It has won many awards. It's clean. It's easy drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly what you say remarkable, but I bought a 6-pack. It was $7.99. I didn't mind,
Yeah.
I was in Canada and I was eating a cheeseburger with some red onions and
At the local Tim Hortons.
yeah. It would be fine, I would give it a high rating. I don't have any complaints. The beer has won many awards in the class lager, right? It doesn't go to these shows and win best in show, but it wins gold medals in the lager category. So, hey.
Yeah, I think if you look at these as being a beer and drinkability, the drinkability is there. It's when you look at it versus some of the other beers that people are starting to knock it down a lot more. So,
yeah, it's like you got to look at a beer within context, and a lot of reviewers, I don't know if it's a lot. Well, I guess it is a lot. They don't look at beers within context. They compare everything as if it's the same style.
right.
So, they're going to take a beer okay, let's say Molson Canadian Light, which I don't think I've ever had. But they'll say, oh, this thing's so watery. Huh, it's a light beer. What do you think it's going to be?
Precisely.
Yeah. If you know how beer is made, you know to go in expecting it to be watery in that regard.
Crunch has this really extra strong Imperial Lager, right? I think it's 8%. Well, if he gets on here and says, man, this thing's really strong and heavy, it's got too much booze, I don't think I like it. Well, that's fine if you say I don't like boozy lagers. Okay, that's cool. But don't criticize the beer for being what it was designed to be.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's a lack of common sense in the world. We know that. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Am I making sense?
You're very much making sense. Yeah.
And I don't know why, but Eric's face is frozen on here. I just see his icon. I don't know. Maybe something's wrong on my end, but I can hear everybody fine, so that's no problem.
Yeah, I think this Crunch is just battling some of the stuff. I've heard Chicago's network from other people just issues on some of their Wi-Fi stuff. So
yeah.
Well, I get the same thing with you guys. I can hear you guys and stuff, and I see you every now and then, but your icons pop up and stuff. Like right now, Yeah, see, right now.
No, Eric.
I'm being a robot. I'm sorry.
But Rod is frozen. You know.
Yeah,
You know the old Mike Myers of Saturday Night Live. I forgot what that skit was, but
I think it's
Rockets.
Oh yes, Sprockets. It's a connectivity issue, really.
Yeah.
But as long as we can hear each
Right.
other, what difference does it make? It's not like we're trying to win an Academy Award.
Let's do it.
So what would you rate that one, Jay? As far as I know you said it's a decent.
Well, for what it is, and I always look at things for what they are. I'll savoring it.
So I put on some Jeopardy music for you. I can put on a little clock for you.
Did you invite me?
Wow.
Did you invite me on here to make fun of me?
No.
No.
Run, Jake.
I was expecting you to eat some Vienna sausage or something.
Hey,
You can tell Crunches in Chicago with the sirens going off.
I know, saying a little prayer for whoever was in trouble. Look, I like sausage, I like yellow onions, I like cheese, I like beans. Okay, now, I would rate this like A-, I guess.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, I tend to overrate. People always say, you always rate stuff too high. Okay, well, okay, I admit that. But
Your opinion.
I think it's an excellent macro lager. Now,
So if we're like American Idol, you're more like Paula Abdul, and then Crunch is more like Simon Cowell. He rates lower.
sorry.
Man, I'm not getting in on that. I'm staying out of this one.
Look, rating this beer, and I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it, okay? I'm not adoring it. I'm enjoying it. Rating this beer is like asking me what's the best Godzilla movie. So you got to take that into context. There aren't really any good, it's a Godzilla movie. What do you think it is? It's not Godfather Part 2. So,
But it's not as bad as Godfather Part 3.
oh no. Godzilla versus Megalon was better than
Very
Godfather
awful.
3. Alien 9 from Outer Space was better than Godfather Part 3.
Whoa.
Well, we're working at B-Reel here in a second. So what do you got, Crunch? And
Oh, well, we already discussed that.
what do you got the Bass Ice?
I got the flat Max Ice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Never had it.
Now this is 8% alcohol by volume there, so it's a little bigger than what you had there, Rod. But Ron was right. Ron was right. I enjoy people who go ahead and when they're doing their review, if they're upfront about what they like, what their stance is, and how that way you can get a feel of how they read. For example, when I do my wine, people know I like the big Bordeaux. I like to have, and not a lot of people like that. They don't like that big oaky flavor. And I tell people right off the back, that's what I like. That's what they. And Ron, I think you hit it right on the head. As long as the person who is giving the review puts it out there, lets people know exactly what they like, what their flavor is, and stuff, then they can rate it however they want, and you can go with that flow. So as long as they're not, like you said, as long as they're not throwing it all in the same pile. So we're not making a stew here. So, but yeah, so.
Right, like if you were reviewing wine, you wouldn't look at Merlot and then go and then talk about sherry.
Right.
It would make sense.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I'll shut up.
No. But no, like I said, I like this one here. It's a little darker than Rod's there.
Yeah.
Nice, a little more golden in there. I still, even though I poured this right after Rod started his, still got some great carbonation going on there. The head kind of flattened out already. So kind of like me, I went with the. I kind of went to the Uncle Fester concert this week. So I got my Hey, what are you laughing over there, Mr. Stanford? All right.
Uh-oh.
All right.
That's all right. I choose to shave mine down.
Yeah, like I said, I like the the colors of it really really good. The carbonation things are in there. It's got a nice little caramely smell to it. It's not real powerful, not overbearing stuff. Just nice. It's really good. You know it's there. Nothing nothing that's gonna go out and say whoa, jump out. I would not really think this is kind of a craft beer, by any stretch. Which basically it's not. Let's be honest. It's kind of made in the big houses. But as far as flavors, see, this you do get that little caramel. It's a little caramel, little coffee flavor in there. It is just light. It's not heavy. It's just light. It's enough that you know it's there. It's not overpowering. And I can tell you one thing. They did make this for their territory, for their country, because it's just nice and heavy enough that when you're in that cold atmosphere up in there, their temperature, this would work well. I always talk about, what I would drink a beer at what time of the day and things like that. This is definitely that type of the weather. You're talking anywhere between 73 degrees and lower. This is a good beer. It's not too thick and it's not too light. It's really going to be good there. It's way too thick for the 80, 85, 90 degree here. At 8% alcohol, definitely going to be too hot for that. But I tell you what, you go ahead and you drink it in that 70. You got the nice spring. You have the nice weather that they have up there. Anybody who's in Minnesota, Cody maybe, well, he's South Dakota, but the North Dakota area, up in Minnesota, North Dakota, up in that area up there, you'll definitely be drinking this and really feel perfect with it. It's not knocking me out, but it's not bad. It's great. It's a standard. It's good, consistent. So on this one here, I'm definitely going to give it a B+. So I'm going to go. Yeah, I like it. It's a nice, solid B+. It's good. Like I said, I like it a little thicker and stuff. I don't like the lighter styles. I like it a little bit more. It has a little bit more meat and gumption to it.
And so, what size is that? What size is it?
Oh, this actually comes to the 24 ounce.
Woo! So better be sitting down in a little bit.
So,
take it.
I got that. Here in Chicago, actually paid with taxes and everything, $1.93 for it.
Woo! Yeah.
So a little nice for under $2.
I actually enjoy some of the ice beers versus some of the regular lagers, though. I think it's more of what I like out of the beer.
Do not drink Genesee Ice. That tastes like freezer burn.
Hey, I did a review of Genesee Ice. I didn't think it was as bad. I thought it was
I like Bud Ice is really good. I like that one.
Eric, don't you think Crunch would like the Molson Triple X?
He probably would like the Molson Triple X. I don't think that's a really bad version of a malt liquor. I don't think so.
Yeah, to me, that's like the best strong lager you can get there.
That's pretty close. Yeah. In that 8% range, definitely.
But try finding it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one for a long time.
Yeah, the Molson Triple X. It's it's made in Canada and it's made in somewhere in America. And I know it's made by Coors in America, but that beer, I bought some of that in New Jersey last year, and Sharif Mansour, who lives in Manhattan, he joined me at the hotel in the Bronx, and we tried the Molson Triple Export, and he was really impressed with it.
Well, I'm going to be going up into Michigan again in a couple weeks here, so they get a lot of the Canadian beers up in that area. So I'll be up in the Traverse City area up in there, and hopefully I'll be able to find some up there.
Well, I actually say the one that I did, this little batch, the more I drank it, the more actually It's a little bit better than I thought it was. So I actually think it's more like a good solid C 2.5 out of 5. I think it's pretty decent as far as holding all the way through, pretty much.
Yeah, and if you get a whole 6-pack and drink it through, I think, I'm just guessing, I don't know. I think it'll like improve a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't mean you drank it all at once. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I'm like, yeah, probably will if I drink it all at once.
I mean, like, like if you drank it over a week or whatever. Because that's what happened to me. The first time I bought a 6-pack, I was like, I don't know about this stuff. And if you watch my original video, I gave it a C. And then about 2 years later, I like to do those revisits, like go back and check it out again. And when I did that, I was like, oh, yeah, this beer's a lot better than I thought. I thought it was the beer's problem, but it was me. It was me, not the beer.
Coming from the can, I'm not getting any metallic taste, so that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, that's nice. I actually chugged that thing down already.
Yeah, mine's gone.
You got another one there?
No, actually, no. I should have bought another one because these I bought. Now I believe that these come in probably. I think it's the 750 milliliter cork and cage bottles. Most of these Unibrews do, and they come in these 12-ounce bottles in 4-packs. I think for a single, this was about $2 and maybe 30 or 45 cents or something like that. So really, I find that to be a really extremely good value, and for what I'm getting a lot, and I've been thinking about it. The further I went down, I think it was that the further I went down into the beer and the closer I got to more, even though I swirled the bottle, closer to where I got to more of that sediment, I actually got more and more of a yeasty, bready flavor and more of a lemon and less of that orange peel kind of flavor, which was really, really pleasant. The lemon gives the beer a tartness and almost a slight amount of a sour, acidic note, which is really, really, really pleasant in the beer's flavor. It's pretty dry in its flavor, but it sort of leaves you with that tart sourness that it just invites you into drinking more and more of that beer. It's so wonderful of a drinking experience. Definitely it is.
I like the one from Unibrow, the Trappistos and the
Yeah, they do a couple of different Belgian-style triples. I noticed that.
I like the Trappistos, and I like that what was it called? The Maudit.
Yes.
Maudit. Yeah, that means damned. If you drink it, you're damned. Maudit.
I was expecting some Ron Burgundy line or something there.
That got a head passing the wall. Yeah. That is really quick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they do have a La Fin de Monde, which is
the end of the world.
the triple, and the La Franganti. I can't even pronounce these words. And they got the Blonde de Chambly, and the other one that I think that we get in my area that I've at least seen at stores is the Blonde de Chambly, which is their Saison. So I'm really looking forward to trying any of those other ones I have not explored yet, because they seem like a pretty good brewery. And they also make the Trader Joe's vintage ales obviously for the Trader Joe's company, and they make one called, I don't know if they just made it last year and that was it, but last year I bought 2 bottles of one that Unibrew made for Trader Joe's called their Provincial Golden Ale, which they're both Belgian-style beers. So, I mean, they're really good. That the bottles are like $7.99 for a cork and cage beer, and they're out of this world good.
Well, that's like we talked earlier. The one I got downstairs they did is their, I think, 15th anniversary that was done by Unibrew. So that's one that I'll do an upcoming review as well, but looking forward to it. I mean, it's a great deal you got. I mean, Trader Joe's is probably one of the best places to buy beers in my mind now. You have them. I mean, just the cost, you're not spending any more than anywhere else, but the fact that you break up 6-packs alone is a big win in my book. That you can buy and you can experiment a lot more. But I had another one here, and I thought it was Molson, because after talking to Jay earlier, I was thinking it was Molson, but it's actually Moosehead. So
Nice.
So
That's one I've never seen in my area.
the Moosehead Rattler, and I happened to go to one last store last night to find the beer I wanted to use for the show. and found a 6-pack of these for $6.99, and it was like down to like probably about 5 or 6 6-packs that were even left. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack this baby open.
Got some nice packaging. It says beer juice on it.
Yeah. So this one I know is at a 4.5% ABV, and on here they'll tell you, like, on the can, well, it gives you the definition: Rattler, a refreshing blend of beer infused with a natural, with a hint of natural flavors, fruit flavors, refreshingly different. And it gives you a rundown of some of the ingredients here, but it tells you beer with natural flavor added and beer plus juice. So
Breakfast beer.
It's a decent looking beer. I had one earlier today, but it does come out, as you can see, a lot of haze on it, so you're not really seeing through it. But it came out with a nice 2-finger head, nice, basically billowy white foam head. And as it breaks down, it usually leaves a little bit of rockiness. It should lace the glass pretty nicely, but it's got that nice golden straw type color there. And when you go in for the aroma, the grapefruit just jumps out of the glass so much. It's just like you're biting into a grapefruit. It's got so much of that grapefruit flavor that just barely a sniff just has it open right up. I mean, it's kind of amazing how much juice they put into it.
They say on the moosehead.ca website, I assume you're just drinking the Moosehead Light Rattler. They say...
Oh, this is the regular Rattler, not the light one.
Oh, it's not the Light Rattler? They don't even list that on their website besides the Light Rattler and then the Rattler Light Lemonade. But for both of those beers, for the Rattler Light Lemonade and just their Light Rattler, they both say that they were developed with 15% real juice and brewed to 4% alcohol by volume. So yeah. It actually does have juice in it.
Yeah, it tells you on the can here, beer, grape juice concentrate, sugar, grapefruit juice concentrate, citric acid, gum Arabic, lemon juice concentrate, natural flavored ester gum. So these are a lot of that stuff.
Anything can be considered natural flavor these days, right?
Yeah. Probably Monsanto, right?
As long as it came from nature, it's a natural flavor.
When you smell it, you do get kind of that grapefruit's the first thing that really hits you. And then you get a little bit more of those other fruit flavors. And it's got a nice, I guess you could say, a candy type sour sweetness to it. It's almost like you're about to bite into a piece of Now Later or type of candy. It's going to have kind of that sour type feel type thing. The thing I've actually liked more about Rattlers lately is, especially when it's hot, they make nice, good drinks to have. When you're fighting the heat, you're kind of getting that beer and juice mix, so they're not too heavy usually. And you can sit there and just enjoy them so nicely.
Absolutely.
I've never had that beer, but I've had the Moosehead,
That's good. I like that Moosehead.
And the taste of it, you got a pretty good, I guess you could say, effervescence about it. It's almost got like the spritzer type feel. You get the juice flavors in there. You're getting the grapefruit. You're pulling out the other flavors they use in here. The IBU is only 5 on it, so it's not too bitter. And it goes down smooth. It's crisp. It's refreshing. Everything you would kind of want in a summer type beer. The only thing that gets me on this one is the potential sweetness of it. And I use the example of the Not Your Father's root beer. If you have it after a period and you let it sit, the sweetness really gets to you. So it's almost on this one, the concern is if you let it sit too long, as it warms up, that may creep into play a little bit. So, but as ice cold, as you're drinking it down, I mean, this is actually a great one to kind of have in that regard. It would go great, like when we did the last episode about barbecue foods and pairing stuff up. This is something you could probably pair up pretty easily around a barbecue type setting. You could easily put it with a burger as probably as much as you could put it with a salad. With that crispness that you get, that refreshment that you get. It's almost to the point where it's almost kind of like drinking a flavored soda. Like some of those Italian type sodas. That's how it kind of comes out towards the end. So very smooth, very nice. For me, I actually rate this one like a 3 out of 5. I think it's got good drinkability, kind of in that B- C+ area. It's kind of a flip of a coin because I don't know how that sweetness is going to get to some people when it sits there too long. They don't drink it in a certain amount of time. So It does have some pleasing flavor with it. It may not offset everybody, but it's going to just depend on what your feel is. But definitely a nice one to check out. So it's the first time I've seen it. And again, that's the Moosehead Rattler, and it was the first time I saw it out there. So I was like, hey, I'll grab that one because I need a Canadian beer.
Yeah.
Where did you buy it?
Where did I buy it at?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a place up here locally. They own like 3 liquor stores. It's called Depths, but they're just kind of in that northern Kentucky area. And it's the first time I saw them even carry it. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, a 6-pack of this for $6.99. Like I said, you're getting a 4.5% ABV. So most rattlers I've seen, like even if you go to the Stiegel, you're down around a 2.5 to 3%. This
Right.
is a little bit more of a kick with it and everything. And there's not much astringency on the back end of it or anything. I mean, it's really kind of like drinking a carbonated juice in some regard. So
I know. I bought this Amstel Rattler.
mhm.
Yes, I've had that before.
Yeah, it was 2% alcohol. I said, well, you could serve this at a Baptist church picnic, and everybody would just think it was lemonade.
Exactly. Yes.
And the choir says amen.
Amen, brother.
I mean, at 2% alcohol, I think little kids could drink it. They probably wouldn't feel it, you know. So it's basically just lemonade that they're selling in a beer store. But, I mean, it was very good, but
Mouthwash has more alcohol by volume than that stuff.
quite a bit more. Quite a bit more. I don't know.
That Stiegel one is very good. It's just it doesn't have really any alcohol kick in it.
Yeah, it's like a non-alcoholic product.
Right.
Well,
maybe it's basically a marketing kick where some of the producers, real old and stuff laying around, they thought, well, now that it's fermented, we'll just go ahead and squeeze it, put it in a jar, and go ahead and sell it out. There you go.
So you're saying the guys that run the brewery are like, what do we do with that stuff? I don't know. Let's throw some juice in there and let's see what we can get out of it.
Let's sell that sucker. You a sucker.
Crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to get going, guys, but it sure was nice, and I would hope to join you again sometime.
Yeah, you're always invited. So it's like you think like we're going to shut you out at some point.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Ron. Before you take off here, I don't know if you've seen, and I want to make sure it's okay with you. I've been putting some of your YouTubes up on my site there, and getting you some exposure on there.
What is your site?
If you go to bottlebarleys.com, go on there, and that will pop up. And you'll see yours is up there. And I also had you were talking about not your daddy's root, not your dad's root beer up there. I also had Eric's up on there. Boy, did he look like a young boy. This was a young boy. Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah.
Oh, how the Catholic Church loved him.
Yeah. My cathedral's the concert stage.
Yeah, so, yeah.
It's called Bottle Barley. Bottle?
Right behind him.
Yeah, Bottle Barleys.
There it is.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, but I remember I told you I couldn't see him.
Oh, wait a minute. Here you go. There you go. I'm focusing on Crunch. Everything's on Crunch right now. Except he puts his hands up to block the screen. You can't even, like, script this stuff.
Hey, I'm not touchy about those things. Like, I'm making the videos. They're public. I had your company take my video and post it on their own website. That was
What I do, well, what it does is that I get 3,500 views a week. So, and I get a lot more people now that come in through the on the beer section as well. That's what I've been doing with Rod, for a while, and he can contest. He said, more people start following in on it. It all directs to you. I don't sit there and I don't shoot anybody over to my area or anything. I just give my audience people more options to go and get more information. So I just want to let you know.
Yeah, right. Like, why be uptight about it?
Yeah.
All right.
We're just out here talking about beverages. Big whoop.
You go on social media, you put something out like, oh no, you'll be upset because someone else ran your stuff for you.
Right. How dare you promote me?
Yeah.
How dare you promote me for free?
Well,
Hey,
go ahead.
no, but I'm going to get off of this, and I would like to join you again. It worked out tonight because there's nothing on TV as far as sports, like no Major League Baseball, nothing. So,
Oh yeah, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
And the Bachelorette, you know, they got a 2 week next week, so.
oh boy,
The Bachelorette.
I can't wait.
The only thing on right now is the whole. I'm watching the French story right now, and it's getting worse every time they pull up the news on it.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. I mean, but don't get me started on that. All right, well,
They're going nuts over there.
you wouldn't like what I had to say, maybe. But
If the world had more beer, it'd be a lot happier. They just drink beer.
last one.
Mm-hmm.
More Kronenborg, 1664.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we
let
all
me ask you this before you leave, Jay. Because I know you're like me, you like a lot of comic book stuff.
yeah.
What's your big expectation for Suicide Squad?
Well, it's hard to say because I think a lot of these movies bomb out. I know about Suicide Squad, but a lot of people might say, "What is Suicide Squad? Why are they trying to promote suicide?" People might take it like that. So they may not watch it. They may not go see it. Look how bad Fantastic Four bombed last year.
Yeah.
I was no shock they canceled the comic book. The whole thing was a fiasco, and then they canceled the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
They canceled Fantastic Four and Incredible Hulk during the same month. They just killed them both off. So I don't think you'll ever see another Hulk movie or another Fantastic Four.
Not unless he's part of the Avengers, right?
Yeah, unless he's part of the Avengers, but those were just bad. So I don't know. I don't go see those movies anymore, but
I'm pretty pumped about Suicide Squad, though.
I'm still getting all the. I think comic books are dying out. They keep trying to get people interested in reading them, but I don't think it's going to work. Like DC Comics just totally revamped their whole line.
Yeah.
They started over this month with a whole new everything starting over, and I haven't read too much yet because the stories are continuing. I like to read the whole story. It might take 6 months for it to finish, but I'm looking on the wall right now. There's a whole, and they're trying to come out twice a month now with Batman and Superman comics.
Right.
They lowered the price to $2.99, so they cut out a lot of the cost.
Cute.
What happened?
I think
Well,
Eric Calder jumped in.
I have a Bureau Moretti La Rosa burp here.
Okay, he asked me.
I did ask Jay on that, so yeah.
But they lowered the price on the comic books to $2.99, and then they're going to come out twice a month with them. Whether that works, I don't think it's going to work. I just don't think I think it's over. Like comic books are not going to be around 10 years from now, but the movies will be.
Yeah. Well, Stan Lee's coming here in a couple of months for Comic-Con, so
Nice.
yeah.
Lee, he must be 95 years old.
Yeah, 93. And for $350, you can get an autograph from him, so.
Oh, wow.
But I thought I'd ask you just because I saw X-Men. I was not pleased with X-Men. I thought it was one of the worst ones. Probably the worst one of the
That
series.
first Spider-Man movie was terrible with Tobey Maguire.
The first one or the second one?
The first one. I stopped watching the rest of the series because the first one was so bad.
I don't like all those movies. I like comic books. I don't like comic movies. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, except for Superman, the movie 1978. Now, that I like.
Christopher Reeve, yeah.
1978 with Marlon Brando and all that. Oh, yeah. All right.
Well, you gotta get to bed, don't you? You get up early?
Yeah, 3:45.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's early, huh?
Yep.
Hey,
That's
well,
why you see him do like beer reviews like at 8:30. It's like, what?
It's like the afternoon for me.
I suppose you're right about that, yeah.
Yeah, up for hours. All right. Well, y'all have a good, safe, enjoyable night.
You too, man.
You too, Jay.
Pros Spears Salante.
We'll get you out for the next show.
Okay, good night, all.
Good night.
All right.
Oh, cheers, Lante.
So what beer? I know Eric cracked another beer.
I cracked the beer from yesterday's J. Terrio beer examination on Wednesday nights. We did Birra Moretti La Rasa, which is not Canadian.
That's not Canadian, eh?
It's far from Canada. It is from Italy.
Okay.
Brand in Italy. This is their 7.2% Doppelbock.
Oh.
It's an 11.2. It's an 11.2 ounce European ripoff bottle for us in Americas.
Oh, I know I was going to tell you earlier. You mentioned the Saison, Eric.
Yeah.
I was reading an article earlier talking about Saison as being one of like the 3 beers that most people skip over even to look at for pairing for.
You know what I noticed before I get to this beer here in my hand was when I went to Canada, even 2 years ago, in Montreal, and we have another buddy of ours. His name is Jordan from Alberta, Canada, and there's a bunch of guys that do the Canadian beer reviewing, including probably the 2 most known ones, I guess, would be the Albino Rhino and Lee Russell. They do a lot of beers in Canada because they're from that area. But I guess Saisons are a really big deal thing in Canada. Almost every brewery that's not, like a Molson or a Labatt or something like that, almost every craft brewery at least has one Saison, and chances are that is going to be their flagship. And again, I don't understand why that is, but it's interesting to mention.
Well, it's kind of funny when you think about the landscapes of Canada, because, I mean, the Saison is like a farmhouse ale. You think of that. Maybe it's something with their culture and stuff. I mean, coming from France, It could have just been something that came over across the ocean as well.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about these Saisons that have popped up around in the United States and probably some of them in Canada as well is I'm just going to say North America as a broad term for both the countries. It seems like North America takes a beer style like a Saison and totally just says, well, we're going to do our own twist to it. So, I mean, Saisons are really supposed to be a lower ABV range than they ever were, in recent times. You're not supposed to have like a 7% Saison. They're supposed to be really, really low alcohol by volume beers so that by the time that they're done, aging and brewing, when the farm workers in that Belgian to that France border region wanted to grab a beer, they could drink it accessibly, and they just kind of had it like a table wine. It was their beer on the table. So we just take beers and we sort of screw with them and make them American styled. But this Birra Moretti La Rasa is definitely more in line with your typical Doppelbock. It's got the notes of brown bread, molasses, brown sugar, toffee, a little bit of coffee, and a tiny bit of chocolate and mocha. And it definitely has dark cherries, plums, raisins, dates, and that is exactly 100% as well the taste of the beer. It's 7.2% alcohol by volume, so it's not the biggest Doppelbock in the world. I think it's a pretty easy drinking, accessible one. It's not quite as big and heavy as Sam Adams Doppelbock, not even in the same category, but it's a nice, lighter, easier drinking, higher ABV beer. 7.2 is still kind of big, but it's still light for that style of beer. And if you've never had a Birra Moretti product or you've never had a Doppelbock, this might be the one to try. So I think I remember giving this beer probably a 90 out of 100 yesterday, and I guess it's probably around that high. No, not 90. I think I gave that around. I think I gave that just the standard B range. So I would definitely stick with B range.
88 or 87, something like that.
Somewhere probably like an 84.5 maybe, somewhere around that range.
Okay.
Definitely more. It's not quite as chewy and robust as say even like a Spot and Optimator or even Trog. It's not quite as chewy as a Troganator, but it's still pretty nice and light and easy enough to drink, and it definitely will give you the 7.2 buzz if you're looking for that kind of thing.
I need to get some more Trogs. We don't have Trogs as much around here, but Trogs make some good beer too.
Every year they put out that Nugget Nectar. I got to pick up.
Yeah, the Nugget.
Yeah, we do a beer festival in Cincinnati every February and September. and usually Trogs is in for that one. So
They are awesome.
it's pretty cool to have them come down and we get a chance. I usually have volunteers. I serve beers, and it's great because I get to talk to a lot of distributors and stuff. But we had it happen last year, and the one that we do in the fall is actually outside. The one we do in the winter is inside one of our convention centers. So we did the one last year outside, and it was actually a day where it rained a lot, which was actually great because all the people didn't come out because they were afraid about the weather. So it really turned into a volunteer beer fest because all the volunteers were just basically taking beer. And it was a great time, but I had a chance to talk with a lot of different people down there and stuff. So just a lot of good things you find out about the whole beer industry doing that. And it's like for people that want to experiment and learn about beer, I always tell them the best thing is there's a beer festival, see about volunteering. Because a lot of times you can volunteer and you get to also taste and drink the beers, but you also get a chance to get exposure to a lot of stuff with the people from the companies. So,
Right.
Apparently, Trogs I don't know if they still make it. I'm just looking at Beer Advocate to see what the names of the beers they have are. But apparently, they make a Troganator bourbon barrel-aged version. Now, the Troganator is... Let me look here. The Troganator is 8.2%. Just the standard Troganator double bock. But the barrel-aged, bourbon barrel-aged version is 11.5%. So that would be really cool to try that. That would be really awesome. But I don't think that... I don't really think of these Doppelbocks, maybe this one more so than others, but I don't really think of that as a style that I really gravitate towards or really would crave in the warmer months. I think maybe fall weather with maybe a pot roast or some kind of a roasted meal would be good.
I haven't heard of pot roast in a long time.
Yeah.
Those malted caramel toffee notes would go great with pot roast.
I got a question for you, Eric. So you're not too far from New York, essentially, where you're at up there.
I'm maybe 3.5, 4 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you hearing anything going on yet with the merger taking place between Victory and Southern Tier?
I have heard zero
I'm kind of stoked to see about what kind of beers they're going to come up with together.
I have heard not a thing about that yet.
Okay.
Well, I guess we got to keep on the outlook for that.
Yeah.
You think some
Those two
interesting
coming together
things?
will be nice.
Yeah, you think some interesting things might come into New England, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think when those two get together, I got some Victory beer I'm going to do some reviews on the next couple weeks here, and Southern Tier makes a great line of beers as it is.
We get a lot of both of those beers. And
And it was smart on their part to, for two micros to come together rather than getting bought out. So I'm kind of interested in what they're going to come up with. I think there's a third brewery involved, but I can't remember the name of the third one. But the third one is smaller than these two.
Yeah, but don't. Yeah, but I'm a little hesitant about that. I was watching that over the feeds as well. And Victory, though, I like. Victory, I like.
Yeah.
We get quite a bit of them here in Chicago. We actually get all of them, but Victory, though, we get quite a bit more. And I really like them. And I'm just kind of afraid that they may lose. Each and every single one, somebody's going to give and take, in both sides. I'm just wondering, what they're going to give and what they're going to take, and how is it going to pan out. That's what I'm kind of,
Well,
about.
what I see now is what we're seeing a lot in all these variety packs. All these companies trying to collab anyway, and we're getting some good exposure between them. The Fat Tire collab, the other one that we had with the Beer Across America. Different collaborations. So it could be interesting to see. And I guess my hope is they don't get rid of their flagship beers that made them who they were.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's what I'm looking at.
With other stuff. So, whenever two companies merge, some people are going to get that pink slip. So they're not duplicating stuff. So hopefully they don't do anything where they're hurting a lot of the beer line.
Yeah.
Right.
But the other thing I'm looking forward to is the guy, the head brewer from Stone. He's breaking off to make his own brewery. So he's leaving Stone, so that's going to be an interesting play.
Oh, I forget that guy's name. It's a very popular name in the beer world.
I mean, that's huge, so... But I tell you what, that Stone...
Oh, Great Koch. That's his name, Great Koch.
That Stone Mocha IPA, that is so freaking good. If you haven't had that one yet, and you like stouts and you like IPAs, I mean, that's just like...
I'm sort of nervous by that beer, just by the name alone.
Oh, it is so freaking. I mean, it's.
But I will give that a try.
Both of those, if you like both of those styles, I mean, it's just like.
I see that everywhere in singles. I'm gonna have to try that. Yeah.
Like the most handsome dude picked the prettiest chick, and this is their baby. You know, that's just how good.
Oh, whoa. Hello.
I mean, I think I rated that like a 4.75 out of 5. That's how good it was. I mean,
Wow.
Nice.
But you have another beer there too, Crunch, or do you just have the one?
I just got the one. That's all. Like I said,
You got the big boy.
I was running late. I was running late today. I was out and about at work. Hence why I'm in a nice dress shirt and stuff, and you guys got your T-shirts on. Well, except for you, Eric. Yeah, you're business casual. That's all right. But Stanford there, he still got his work clothes on. So, yeah.
So it's funny, when I went to go get the one, I was trying to find the one Canadian beer before I ended up finding the Rattler. I was at one store next to my house, and I'm going through them, like, they have some singles, and like, you have no singles that are Canadian beers. And the guy started telling me, like, well, no, we don't have any there, but we have the 6-pack. So I was like, it's like, you don't understand. I have like 80 beers at home. I don't need another 6-pack. And he's like, yeah, but a 6-pack is cheap. It's like, you don't understand. I don't care about the price. I just need one.
Okay, so maybe that's telling us. Maybe that's telling us we need a more accessible topic for next week.
Maybe.
Maybe we can provide our favorite mocha IPAs.
Wait, man, that'll target right in the stone wall.
Well, see, I like the stone, and you know, I've had that mocha we were talking about. You know, we talked about that before, Ron. You know, that good stone was always good, except for that last review that we did on stone. It was, oh man.
Well, the one I had, the Stone Citrusy IPA.
Oh, the citrusy wheat.
I was underwhelmed with that one. Yeah.
And
I had reactions to that.
Yeah, and I had that. I forgot which stone I had.
You had the Stone by 7.4, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there's not much. There's not much in the Stone library or the Stone portfolio that can really rival that Russian Imperial Stout.
Now the Russian Imperial Stout is nice. That is, and the vertical one isn't bad either. I've had that
any day of the week.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, you know, you were talking about your La Fin de Mundo right there. That one there, we actually at a local bar that you know that we know. Dean, Rod knows Dean there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shoes Pub. They have it right on tap, and that's where I've had it. The last time I was there, I think that's all I drank all night was that. After sampling everything else on their taps, I ended up with that one, and that's what I started, and of course that's what I pinned the moon to with.
Excellent. I haven't tried that yet.
It's actually, yeah, you'll like that one. It's a pretty nice style, really nice.
I'm kind of disappointed. I don't want to get too off topic here, but I'm kind of disappointed that the Chocoveza there, that chocolate, that Mexican chocolate stout thing that they came out with. I'm kind of disappointed that never got a bomber. You can never find a bomber of that. And if I wanted to buy that beer, I would have to buy a 6-pack, and the 6-pack, at least for a lot of the Stone beers in my area, are like $22 and up in price, and I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that one off the. I don't know if I had a draft or bottle before. We have a nice area, a restaurant called Amber Asia that serves Chinese food here, near where I'm at. They have over 150 plus beers there, and I've had that there before. And
a Chinese restaurant, wow.
Yeah, I mean it's actually pretty cool if you like Chinese food. You come into this place, you would never know it was this good because you walk by, it's got this awning out front. You just think it's just like a local pick up, take home type spot, right? So you walk in there, people wait in line to get a seat. That's how good this place is. And they play on their TVs kung fu movies.
Oh, sweet.
And then they name their dishes after like kung fu stuff. And then at the whole time, in the music background is like stuff like Wu-Tang instrumentals playing. So it's got like a kind of a kung fu beat to it. And you just see people in there from all different types of groups just nodding their head and eating their food. And then when you get to the beer, they have like 6 or 7 on tap, but then they have bottles from all over. And I usually go in there. I usually start out with something like the Molotov cocktail. You know, it's like 13.5%. You know, start high and work your way back type situation. And they always get different stuff in, but it's a great place to experiment with beer and get good food. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's get to the meat and bones of this song.
Yeah.
All right, don't mute this video, you.
Oh no, not at all.
I'm so sorry. I am sorry for that.
But it's always good to find a good beer place.
I hear too long. I hear 4 hours now. I have to go. So. Oh, God.
Okay, sorry.
Well, yeah, my battery.
You're gonna bring out my YMCA pretty soon.
If anybody's still watching this video, God bless you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my battery's low. That's why my picture's up there. The camera's turned off. My friends. So I gotta go ahead up. Do you want to? Should we close this down? You guys can.
Yeah, we want to close it out, and I just want to say, you know, we did this whole thing looking at Canadian beers, but I definitely want to pay respect and give a shout out for Strat, who was up there in Canada, who passed away. So, you know, definitely dedication to him with this show too, and all the positive stuff he shared on YouTube when he actually helped a lot of people on their beer reviews.
To Strat. Never knew the man. Sounds like a gentleman.
Yeah, big guy.
Cheers.
But with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and
well, all right.
You want to take us out?
There you go. Well, another great show from Craft Beers Gone Wild, number 11. Number 11 or number 12?
I think it's maybe 12 at this point.
Yeah, number 12 at this point. So we'll be coming back from the northern border next week. We'll let you know what we're going to have planned. As always, I'm Crunch Crutchbar here in Chicago, Illinois.
And Rod J. out of Kentucky, Cincinnati.
Thomas Meadow 75 from the Massachusetts Beer Review channel of YouTube in southern Massachusetts.
And you can always go ahead and hit up Mr. Rod J. Just type in his name, and Google will go ahead and spit out all 5,000 pages of him, and you hook him up, and he'll go ahead and let you know what we're coming up for the next week. Join us. We always like to have new faces on here, and always good to have you guys with us. So thanks a lot, guys. Sorry I had technical difficulty all night, but the name of the game. So as always, Rod,
keep drinking good craft beers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Or